I did a series a while back where I talked about voice, victoriously outspoken, initiating corrective environments. Just like voice and using your voice is important, knowing when to use it and how to use it is equally as important. The thing about your voice, too, is that you can never surrender it. Silence is golden, but it's only golden when it's used appropriately. Your voice is only victorious when it's used appropriately. When you get quiet about the things that matter, you have ultimately betrayed yourself because not only do you tell people you don't matter, but you quietly, through your silence, tell yourself that you don't matter. You don't believe me? Think about how many things you start to tolerate. It starts with the small things. You tolerate a few things here and there, and the next thing you know, you're tolerating it everywhere. You tolerate it from one person, and you're like, okay, maybe that's just her. And then other people start talking to you, talking crazy to you, and you're like, wait a minute, I never say anything. Ding, 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 clock it. You never say anything. You never set healthy boundaries. You never use your voice. So when you don't use your voice, guess what? The silence begins to speak for you. So when you don't say anything, when you don't let people know anything, there are a lot of people, and I talk about it all the time, especially in the workplace. A lot of black people that try to figure out how to navigate in the workplace. If we mention color, they say we're using a race card, and we want pity, which is a lie. Because we have worked our behinds off to even get in the room, to get the interview, to get the job. We start at a lower pay and we come in early, we work late, we do everything by the book because we're trying to prove ourselves, only to figure out that there's really nothing we can ever do that's going to satisfy them because their mind has already been made up. And then after a while, they start to act as if they appreciate you. It's just a little toleration. It's just a little playing. It's just like, yeah, yeah, girl, you kind of good. But they always want to keep you in your place because they always want to use you and they always want you to do and work over and above to prove who you are while you watch them mediocrely show up all the time. Yeah. So when you're silent and you never let people know anything because you're trying to move in the system without saying, what's obvious, they don't know that it bothers you. And as soon as you say something, they'll go, oh my gosh, they did. I didn't know. And now you're looking stupid and you feel bad because you're like, I should have said something. That is the dilemma that every black professional goes through. When to say something and when not to, and how to say it in a way that we're going to be heard and not judged or written off or flipped off or said we were just too much or fired just because of our color, and people feel like, I don't know what to say around them. That's why you have to study the enemy. So see, when Nick Cannon and all those other ignorant people were talking about their tired of the slave movies, what they missed is that watching the slave movies showed you how our ancestors navigated, watched, worked in the home, and understood how the slave owner thought. It's only when you understand the enemy and how he thinks can you defuse the enemy and use said weapon against said enemy. But when you don't know how the enemy thinks and you're so busy in your head trying to prove something to somebody that you think actually likes you and you don't consider them an enemy, then you're going to always mess up and you will always become and second guess yourself and always beat yourself up, and you will become less than and you will become exactly what they called you because you didn't understand the enemy you are fighting. Every fight is different. There's a time to use your voice and there's a time to be silent. When you're in the room and you're listening to all of them speak, that's your time to be silent. You want to hear what comes out of their mouth. Out of your mouth flows the issues of life. From the abundance of the heart does the mouth speak. So when they're talking, they're telling you how they think. They're telling you what they really feel. And you go and you marinate on that. And you realize that, okay, while they're in my face playing, they really are only tolerating me, thinking, okay, I might use the race card. One of the reasons why I never participate in it when they're talking about Hispanics, Mexicans, Latinos, because what I understand is you're only doing that to try to gain common ground with me So as soon as I leave the room, you're going to have the same discussion about me. Not only that, if they will discuss one group with you, they're discussing you with another group. Every dog that brings a bone has to carry a bone. So you have to watch the bones and know and understand when to take the bone, when to leave it alone, and when to file it away for later. It's a complete mindset that you have to adopt to fight this everyday fight just because you're born black. People don't like to talk about it. They want to ignore it. Heck, we've tried to ignore it. But appeasement and ignoring it do not benefit you well. It would benefit you to accept that I cannot change this ignorance, but I cannot ignore it either. Because for me to pretend like it doesn't exist does not speak volumes about me. It speaks volumes to me and my work. And while I don't realize that my silence of not speaking up for myself is slowly dwindling down my securities, my confidence, and making me insecure. And then I begin to work overtime to be accepted by a group of people who never wanted to accept me anyway. Yeah, study your adversary. Accept that everybody is not going to be there, and then stop looking for approval from people that really don't matter. And spend your time speaking up for you because you matter. And only when you matter to you first can you use your voice victoriously outspoken, initiating corrective environments. This is a time to not go silent. I know some people are already saying at some point we got to let it go. Tell those people to shut up. No, you don't. The minute you let go of justice for Nolan Wells, every other case in Mississippi that Dr. Stacy Turner has lied on goes into a bliss. And guess what? The racist KKK thugs, Proud Boys, whatever they call themselves, ICE, is going to go on a rampage. We cannot afford to let the fight go. That's why it takes all the money. That's because we're fighting a system. Sometimes the system has faces, like the Attorney General and the Mayor of Mississippi, the Governor of Mississippi, and sometimes we don't see the face. You don't know. But the system is in place and is working against us. If it works in Mississippi, it'll move on. Appeasement has never set anybody free. Our ancestors did not get us to this place for us to go silent and become lapdogs and just sit back and let things happen and hope that somebody else fights for us. No, you're the somebody. Pick up the weapon, pick up your voice, use your phone, use your platform, continue speaking, and do not stop. This is not one of those times where silence is golden. It's been your girl, Candy with Kim. Because if it needs to be said, you know I'll say it.